Hey there, Marina Ormes here, and today I wanted to do a little technical lesson with you. So last week I got the question about what is the zodiac and how is it possible that the sun goes around the zodiac when, wait a minute, doesn't everything orbit around the sun? And so let me read you the exact question. It's a listener says, you mentioned sun is going through the zodiac. My brain went boing. Doesn't everything rotate around the sun? So how does that even work? So here's a little and I wish that more people knew this. I wish it was taught more. I wish this is part of our experience of life on earth that we are not taught. And it's not, don't worry, it's not weird like flat earth or anything like that. It, it works very well with modern science. So we have the sun and we have the planets orbiting around the sun, and that is what we learn in elementary school. I remember when my kids were little, we had a giant puzzle that had the sun and all the planets in their orbits. You go out from the sun: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, etc. And each planet has its rate of orbit around the sun, its shape of orbit. Some are, most are slightly elliptical. And also each planet has its own tilt. So we have the, although they are more or less in the same-ish plane. So we have this plane that is the Earth's orbit around the sun. That is meaningful to us because we're here on Earth. So in that plane, sun, Earth, just like on a plate, if you can imagine a flat plate, sun is in the middle, Earth is going around the periphery of that plate. That's a plane. Now, the other planets are also orbiting around the sun. Some of them might be a little bit above or a little bit below that plate. So they're more or less in the same zone, but may not be exactly in the same plane. So what we call that, because we are here on Earth, and what we see when we see the planets and the sun and the moon going through the sky, we have a plane that is that plate, and we call that the plane of the ecliptic. And that is, for us, is the plane of actually the sun, because to us, we see the sun moving not only from east to west throughout the day, sunrise, midheaven, sunset, midnight, sunrise again. That actually has nothing to do with the zodiac. That has to do with the Earth's rotation. So we only see the sun rising and setting because the Earth is rotating. And now we take that rotating Earth and we remember that it is orbiting around the sun. So if you imagine for a moment, like I've got my dog on a leash, okay? And so I'm the sun and the dog is the Earth going around, and the dog, can run around me with the leash, and I might have to keep switching hands, but the dog can orbit around me and I'm the sun. But from the dog's perspective, the dog is going to see different things behind me as that dog goes around me. So if maybe there's a blue building behind me and a yellow building in front of me, the dog is going to pass between me and the blue building, and it's going to look at me and it's going to see the yellow building behind me. And then it's going to keep going around me and it's going to pass between me and the yellow building, and it's going to see the blue building behind me. Okay, you with me? So now let's call the yellow building Capricorn and the blue building Cancer. These are simply different regions of the sky or the distant 3D world that the dog is going to see behind me, the sun. And so the sun, I might not be moving at all, right? But that dog can go around me, and as the dog looks at me, the dog is going to see something different behind me. Okay, so that's what we do when we are on the earth. We are seeing the sun. We are somewhere in the earth's orbit around the sun. We are looking at the sun, just like the dog would be looking at me holding the leash. And behind that sun, we see the distant sky that in this case is not a building, but is a region of the sky that we might call Capricorn. So when we are on the earth, looking at the sun, Capricorn is behind the sun is in Capricorn. And then that earth might, 6 months later be on the opposite side of the sun. And as we on the earth are looking at the sun, we see that distant area of sky that we call Cancer. And now we say the sun is in Cancer. So that's how it works. And all the signs in between, of course, as we go around it in the orbit. And then additionally, so the zodiac is the region of sky that we see behind whatever we're looking at, whether we're looking at the sun or Jupiter or Pluto, whatever we're looking at, we're going to see what is behind that body. And that has a region of the sky that has a name as being part of the zodiac. Now, the zodiac also, because remember how I said the Earth orbits the sun in a particular plane, the other planets might be in a plane that is slightly different from, it's not going to be wildly different, but it might be a little bit above or a little bit below the plane of the Earth's orbit, which is called the ecliptic. And so that is why we call it the zodiac belt, because when we look, it's just like that dog looking at me, the sun, and seeing a yellow house behind me. It might also see somebody a little bit above or below me, but still the yellow house behind them. But it's going to be more in a region that's sort of like, it could be here, it could be here, it could be here. And that's the belt. Anyway, hopefully that helped you to understand what the zodiac actually is. The zodiac is very specifically the sky as it is seen from the earth, and where we see the planets, the sun, the moon, from our perspective here on Earth. So if we were on Mars, if we were on Venus, the zodiac would be different. It would not be the Earth's zodiac. So we are not talking, when we say the zodiac, we are not talking about what things look like from the sun. We are talking about what things look like from the earth. So if it's me and my dog on a leash, it's what the dog sees, as the dog can go around and around me, but always on that leash. So hopefully that helps you to understand what the zodiac is. And different signs of the zodiac refer to different regions of the sky, just like the houses in the neighborhood. It's what you're going to see in the distant sky in that region of sky, and you see particular stars there. And that used to be the constellations that we associate with zodiac signs. And over time, the constellations that we see in the background have shifted slightly from where they were 2,000, 4,000, 6,000 years ago. And so that's why we have two different zodiacs. One is sidereal and one is tropical. The tropical zodiac defines a region of sky, so the region that we call Cancer or Capricorn. It defines that region of sky based on our solstices and equinoxes as we experience them here on Earth, as opposed to sidereal zodiac, which defines those regions of sky based on where the stars are, even if our solstices and zodiacs are not aligned with them anymore. So, and that's what's called the slipping of the zodiac. It's what creates the age of Aquarius and more, and so many other things. Anyway, there's your little astrology lesson, why astrology makes sense, even though It's a different way of thinking than our modern day astronomy, which it's not in conflict with that at all. It's simply a different perspective. So there you go. Hopefully that's helpful. And thank you so much for being here and working with the energies of the stars and planets as we see them in these different parts of the sky that give us meaning, that give our lives meaning, and help us to understand the context of different times and how different times have different qualities and how we can work with those to make the most of them. All right, thank you so much for being here. Hit subscribe for more videos like this, and check out my playlists at the Astrology Heals YouTube channel. Learn more about me at astrologyheals.com. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.